We're going to talk about James von Brunn, this lunatic white supremacist who walked into the U.S. Holocaust Museum a couple days ago and killed that security guard. Just a couple hours after the death of a 39-year-old security guard with a family, it's already been politicized by both sides, we should point out, assigning him as a right-winger, some people assigning him as a left-winger.
Paul Krugman, we're going to read what Paul Krugman says, which sadly is a real distortion and an exploitation.
It's coming from both sides.
Of this death, right. An exploitation of this death by Paul Krugman.
Paul Krugman writes this. Back in April, there was a huge fuss over an internal report by the Department of Homeland Security warning that current conditions resemble those in the early 1990s, a time marked by an upsurge of right-wing extremism. Conservatives were outraged, but with the murder of Dr. George Tiller by an anti-abortion fanatic, closely followed by a shooting by a white supremacist in the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, the analysis looks prescient. There is, however, one important thing that the DHS report didn't say. Today, as in the early years of the Clinton administration, but to an even greater extent, right-wing extremism is being systematically fed by the conservative media and political establishment.
We sort through a lot of hate mail, a lot of hate email, a lot of viciousness. And I must say, and I could print them out for people, Paul Krugman's name is attached to a lot of those emails. A lot of people, I can't even say two consecutive words, but they use Paul Krugman as their shield for their left-wing hate. This is because Paul Krugman, like a lot of, I would say, extremists on the right, they only see their side. They have a closed-minded worldview, and so Paul Krugman uses this tragedy, uses this death, to try to knock down his opponents on the right. Listen, we get hate mail from right-wingers and from left-wingers. So we see both sides of this feeding the hatred and getting people on both sides now trying to exploit this death for their own purposes is disturbing. It is sort of sad and pathetic that this is being exploited. Sadly, people use these tragedies and usually the press uses these tragedies to target conservative talk radio hosts and suggest that they're the problem. As I said before, so many hate emails that I get every day come from people that hide behind Paul Krugman's words. And I wouldn't blame extremism on the left on Paul Krugman. I would just say when you have people on the left and the right that don't think critically, like Paul Krugman, that come from one worldview and are inflexible, like Paul Krugman, then you feed in to these people